Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Pierre and Werner sitting right next to me, and you've seen a huge countdown on social media, and it was all for tonight.
For tonight's happening, the premiere of our first episode of Footpeg Diaries, and our first guest with us, just to open the whole night.
Absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's start. The guys at home surely want to know by now,
What the hell?
what the hell is Footpeg Diaries?
You've been spamming us with social media the entire week. 2 weeks.
2
now.
weeks.
Enough already. Okay, so Footpeg Diaries it's basically the result of me and Fonny and a couple of oaks just wanting to ride. And you all know, if you're an adventure rider, you know how it goes. There are so many lovely stories. There are so many things that happen on a trip, be that a short day trip or a 2-week trip like we are going to do in 3 weeks' time in the desert, which is also going to happen, stay tuned. But I'm getting ahead of myself. There's always these stories of the people you are with and their stories and the things that you do and the places you are at. It's a story experience, and that's what we want to do. And if you have friends like Werner, we call him Veris. It's a thing. So you're going to hear it in the episodes as well. If you have friends like Veris that ride properly and that are nice people, those are the people you want to tell stories with.
Exactly. So Werner, Veris, tell us what your experience was like, because obviously you didn't have a clue. You arrived here one morning at 5 o'clock, before 5, it was dark.
He didn't even know where he was. I mean, he arrived here today and he said, "Is this how the place looks?"
So tell us about that first experience and the experience of joining us on this adventure.
So, first of all, I was told just bring your bike. I think that was the first step, which is a good thing. To be honest with you, it was fantastic. Just to be able to ride as a group. Well, ride, first of all, ride a motorcycle, adventure bike, and then ride as a group and experience every corner, every little bump, every little fall. So it was, for me personally, it was absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait for our next big trip.
Yes. But now, tell the people outside there, when we shot this episode you're going to watch tonight, the premiere episode, you were still a rather, shall I say, green rider and adventure rider. You're a road rider for quite some years, yes, and you've had some wonderful stories about that. But for adventure riding, it's not your first ride, but you were getting into it still. And now, as we sit here now, you've escalated. It's like seeing an addiction being formed in front of my eyes. That was what the last couple of months was like.
Yeah.
You see, it was a seed, and you planted that seed. The first time I met Pierre was him arriving with his Africa twin, and I fell in love with you and your motorcycle.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's where the seed was planted. And yes, got myself an adventure motorcycle, and it took a lot of seat time, riding.
That's the thing.
Falling. A lot of falling.
A lot of mistakes.
But that's how you grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that I've grown. I still feel that I am still very green, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's been amazing just being able to ride and grow and pick up your bike and just continue. As I say, once you fall off the horse, just get back on and go for it.
I want to jump in here quickly and ask you, Pierre.
Yeah.
Obviously, we sort of documenting travels and adventures. We're going to awesome places, which is something that I think a lot of people don't understand. You know, the riding of the motorcycle and seeing places that you would not normally see.
Yes.
And telling the stories.
Yes.
So Footpeg Diaries is not a motorbike show per se, in the sense that we're reviewing motorcycles or that it's about the motorcycle. It's more about people and stories and places.
And adventure.
I'm going to say this. Unpack the title for me, please.
Unpack the title, Footpeg Diaries.
Yeah.
It's not a journal. That's what it's not. It's not me sitting with a book and telling you about my experiences.
Dear diary.
It's a diary kind of way. And there are such deep meanings and things that I've just discovered. No, it's not that. We are documenting through the shots that we are taking, through the story that we're following with the camera crew, and they become part of the story as well. We are documenting a trip, and most people, if you're not used to riding adventure bike in South Africa, specifically in Southern Africa, and I'm referring to South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, those magical places, where we are fortunate enough to stay. If you're not used to this riding, it's very different from European riding. It's very different from the riding in the States, or I'd say it's almost Australian outback riding in a certain sense, but also not that. There's more variety. I know, sorry, Oaks there, but there's more variety. You ride to Helen for 2 days to get to a place. I don't understand, but we have it right here on our doorstep. So that's what Footpeg Diaries is about. It's documenting the lovely rides that we have here, on our doorstep, the experiences, sometimes the madness of it, but the total soul-searching rejuvenation that you feel after a ride and a trip like that. That is what Footpeg Diaries is about. Being on the footpegs, standing up, nailing it into the sand or up a hill or into the rocks. And
don't get too far ahead. Okay. Varies, I want to come to you quickly.
Yes.
So I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you: would you do this again? Would you join us again on another adventure and maybe tell us, not to get too far ahead, but maybe?
Absolutely. So what my hope is that I'm the first guest. And I'm sort of the guest that just never left to continue with all the additional rides, because
that's him there. That's in your ear, brother.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's awesome, and the thing is, it's right there, as you say, on your doorstep. Beautiful rides, places that you see that a lot of other people never see in their lives.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about. So hopefully this is not the last time that I'm on
we just spoke about it earlier today, that we're planning on the logistics is quite big,
yes,
in the desert for more than a week. It's
I think let's touch on that quickly.
Yeah.
Let's touch on the behind the scenes stuff.
Behind the scenes.
What goes on behind the scenes? Because obviously this is a 20-minute sort of episode.
Yeah.
But we shot for 3 days.
A lot of things. We're not allowed to drink beer during the episode, even though the heat in Africa, it's hot.
Yeah.
But I think we have to change that in the next one. And then there's jackets.
Thank you.
Do you want us to go now? That's Fritz, by the way. So Fritz, you'll see him in the production as well. That's just
it's behind the scenes.
Yeah,
he's a behind the scenes guy that walks into the studio.
No manners.
No manners and okay.
So it's we are going to shoot this. The one we shot here with Werner is 2 episodes. We're showing the first one tonight.
Yeah.
It's basically the northwestern province, close to Gauteng, where we are based, where lots of adventure bikers love riding. Then there's another series, another trip that we did with another friend of ours called Louis Minard, which is about the Vredefort Dome, which is the biggest impact crater on the planet. It's right here on the other side of Gauteng, 180 kilometers across.
It gives me goosebumps.
And now we're aiming to the desert just for a couple of weeks, and there's a lot of plans after that as well.
Yeah. All right. Tell us about this episode that the guys are going to watch tonight. What can they expect in the first episode? And then let's touch on some of the interesting stuff that can happen in the second episode.
Me and Varys getting to grips with the beginning of the ride, saying goodbye to the city, that early morning sunrise thing.
Little history as well.
Because
we both grew up in Pretoria.
Yeah.
Sort of where we did university and the things we did.
So we went to check out the places that we used to, that we used to know.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hit the road eventually. We end up somewhere in the bush, and then in the next episode, we climb. We rise to nice heights, and we fall, and we climb and fall, and we climb and fall, and climb and fall. So next episode.
So are you guys going to bore us with a lot of technical...
Listen, people want to see something like, what does that front tire do in sand? And you have to tell people, give you a little bit, but that's not what we are doing here to do. We're here not to review bikes. We're not here to tell you what riding style works in this situation or to give you friendly GPS tips. We are here just to enjoy the ride. And if by chance you pick up a little thing or two, if you don't even agree with us, that is perfectly fine.
Let's start the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if you disagree and you feel like we are idiots,
tell us.
We are. And we'll take it, bro. We'll take it. Bring it. I mean, we're not telling anyone that we're special.
Yeah.
We're just average oaks.
We're not experts. We're
not.
not professional
Correct.
motorcycle riders.
Experienced, but not professional.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. So I guess, is there anything that you'd like to say to the viewers before we get to this first episode? Because
Yes.
it's 15 days of countdown. I'm a bit gutful now.
Werner, you want to go and pick up your name again?
I did. I actually had to, and there's something we can perhaps add
Yeah.
a little bit later. So I went back
Yeah.
to Breedsnack to just go and get my name back.
Yeah.
And then Jericho Rock, I still need to go back.
Yes, yes. So a couple of things are going to happen. That's in the second episode, so stay tuned for that. Also in the second episode, I basically exploded. My toes exploded, but that's luckily no one actually recorded that. But
Tell
I
us,
think
tell
on
us,
social-
just tell us why that happened.
Windgat.
And how. Just explain to us how.
I was just wheeling off a little two-spoor track and into one of our backup vehicles.
Okay.
That's the way it is.
And luckily it was just your toe.
But luckily, it's just 2 toes, and this the one is fractured and popped like a hamburger patty. But I mean, nothing that a little bit of a plaster. Just pull it together again, and the
Yes.
next day we were on the adventure again.
Exactly.
Yeah. So these things happen. You won't see it in the show, but on our social media, there's a lot of feed about that kind of thing as well.
All right. Let's invite everybody. I think this is important because there's a Facebook page.
Yeah.
There's a Instagram page.
Yes.
And there is a YouTube channel. Okay, so the episodes, guys, will only be available on YouTube. That's very, very important.
Just there.
So what do they have to do?
Go to the YouTube channel, Footpeg Diaries. It's in most of the social media posts we made. The link is there. Otherwise, just go and search Footpeg Diaries. Just subscribe there, tick the box that says notifications, and whenever there's a little bit of video, we have a lot of little bonus extras coming in every now and then, weekly stuff, and sometimes looking at every second week when we're doing a tiny episode. But in between, there are little things happening. You'll get notification. Werner, you are on Instagram. What's your handle?
It's W. Kutzer.
W. Kutzer. C-O-E-T.
S-E-R. Yes, special.
On Instagram as well. Go and follow him. He's got a lot of fans. You've got a lot of fans. You're famous.
There's a lot of girls.
A lot of good, nice girls.
Nice girls.
Gents, so we're talking about.
Oh, sorry, bikes.
We're married, yeah.
Okay, so without further ado,
Yeah.
let's watch Footpeg Diaries.
First episode.